to Raising Happy and Thriving Gifted Kids, a daily podcast where you get relatable stories, interesting lessons, and practical tips to help your kids thrive and be happy while enjoying your own life even more. So we're going through the PERMA model, the different parts of optimal functioning and optimal well-being. And we talked about the different areas. We talked about positive emotions last time. Today we're going to talk about engagement and flow. Then we still have the R, PERMA, relationships, the M for meaning, and the A for achievement. But today we're going to talk about engagement and flow. And this is based on the work of a Hungarian psychologist, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. I love pronouncing his name. It should be a test for you guys if you really understood and are listening. But yeah, so what he researched is that the state of flow is actually a scientifically proven state where you lose all track of time, you lose, the conscious ability to understand what's going on because you're so engrossed in the thing you're doing. You forget to eat, you forget to drink, you forget everything around you because you are so engaged in what you're doing. And a couple of requirements are you should be doing something that you care about or that you're passionate about. You should be doing something that you have some form of skill in, and the challenge level should be a match for your skill. And as a result of that, you kind of forget time and you forget everything else. So the primary task in this is to find the right challenge that you're passionate about. So one of the models that helped me make this a lot more practical in life is a model that I kind of got from the applied version of what they call it, the multiple intelligence theory by Howard Gartner. Well, that theory itself, I'm not an endless fan of because it's kind of been debunked scientifically again and again. But the whole concept that there are like different levels of intelligence, different types of intelligence, I think that kind of makes sense in a way. But one of the principles, like one of the applicable principles that I got from that was the concept of matching and stretching. And what they're talking about is that you need to find a balance between matching and stretching, between matching, doing the things in a way that you like doing them best, that fit you best, that fit your particular talents the best. And at the same time, find places in life where you are stretching, where you are going beyond what you can do, either because it's not your skill level, because it's not your interest, or because it's not, fitting with where you are right now. And having that balance right in your life is very valuable. So if you do this right, then you should, for instance, have like a 50-50 balance between matching and stretching. Half the time you should be matching and doing things at your speed in an area you're interested in. And maybe half the time you should be spending on stuff that's not as fitting, which is fine. Not everything has to be perfect. But when you cross the threshold too much into one or the other, where you go like 90% matching, always doing the things exactly in your interest level, at your level, then you probably don't build up the perseverance you need to get stuff done. On the other hand, if your life is going to consist of 95% stretching, then you're going to be frustrated as heck, because that is not going to be fulfilling, because you're going to spend so much time out of balance, not in a way that fits you, that you're just not going to enjoy learning. And you're probably going to hate learning and you're going to hate school. So one of the conscious assignment is to make sure there's a balance between matching and stretching. And I actually ask kids, either to have them make a drawing and list all the things that you're doing, from the sports you're doing to the school subjects and stuff like that, like which are more matching and which are more stretching, and what's the balance between the two. And this is where gifted kids are challenged at times because their challenge levels are way too low. Like it's a cheetah problem we talked about in episode 7. Or the subject's just not interested. Or, there's all these things going on that make sure that the kid needs to stretch instead of being allowed to match a substantial amount of time. And while we're at it, maybe you should reflect on yourself. Because how are you doing? How is your personal balance between matching and stretching? And what could you do today to balance it a little bit more? If you're matching all the time, both for your kids and for yourself, how can you stretch a little bit more? If you stretch all the time, how can you match a little bit more? In that way, we can slowly take steps to improve the balance between matching and stretching, and improve the amount of engagement and flow that you experience in life. If you liked this episode of Raising Happy and Thriving Kids, Don't forget to subscribe to the podcast in your favorite podcast software. And if you want to dive deeply into all the things you can do to help your kids thrive, be happier while making your own life more enjoyable, go to smartparentingsecrets.com, where you can get free additional training. Hope you enjoyed this episode, and as always, bring out the best in yourself and each other.